Could you bedazzle?
Yeah. I don't know if you'd want those inside. Customize your cup.
Okay, so today we're talking about a pretty delicate topic, menstrual cups. But we're both fans, right, Lucy?
Yeah.
We're converted, but we've both had quite different experiences. I was so nervous about it. I was saying to Lucy before, I get really nervous about things like this, and it seems quite intimate and it feels a bit weird and a bit icky, and I totally get you if that's how you feel, but although my experience was a little bit more comical, I'm converted. Like, I will definitely give it a go again. So,
you have to tell us your story.
Yeah, so my story is quite funny. So, in the name of research, I tried it at work. That was probably not the wisest idea. So I used the Hello Cup, which we've got one here. Now this is a slightly firmer consistency, and this one is made of plastic, so it's silicone free. And as I've worked out from talking to you, I think I did it wrong. So I folded it, and you're meant to punch down with this.
Yes.
So you punch down to insert it. Now I inserted it in the morning at home perfectly. It was absolutely fine. That's when I ran into trouble when I went to the bathroom at work, and it got stuck. I felt like it wasn't right. It felt a bit weird, so I was the person bearing down in the toilets. And you know, work toilets don't have bottoms, so like it was so embarrassing. I was trying to cough to try and make noises so that no one could hear anything. It was really traumatizing. I came back and I was like, that is it, I'm never doing this again. Then someone gave me a fresh one. Oh, because then what happened is, as I was emptying it, I accidentally flushed it down the toilet. I probably blocked up the whole sewer system of work. It was just a joke. Anyway, I tried again, and I still think it's a really great thing.
So I've been using the Lunette cup for about 4 months now. It's made out of medical grade silicone, and it took me a while to pluck up the courage to actually use it. I've used tampons forever, and to be honest, I just found the idea of this really scary.
Yeah.
But I watched heaps of videos and I read as much as I could about it, and it just sounded like the easiest way to have your period once it's in, right?
That's totally right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the scary part was the idea of getting it in and taking it out.
And being so, it's a pretty intimate.
Totally.
It's quite intimate.
Yes. And you really have to get to know your body when you're using it, which is what everybody says.
So true.
You learn a lot.
But we should know our bodies,
yes,
right?
totally.
We should know what our bodies are like. Yeah.
So with the Lunette, you fold it in half and then in half again, so you create kind of like a little taco. and
that's what it does.
That's what it does. It
we
just
couldn't have
pops
done
open.
that perfect.
No. So the first time I tried it, I actually got it in straight away the first time.
Same as
yes,
me. Yeah, I was like,
this
boom.
is awesome. And I had the number 2 cup, which is actually the bigger one. This is number 1, because I got sent it, and that was the size I got sent. So I thought, okay, I'll just try that. And it was great. And I left it in for 12 hours because that's what you're allowed to do with it. And I just kind of forgot about it. Like,
you do forget about it.
Yeah, except the first time you go to the toilet, you're kind of like, oh, what's going to happen here?
Yeah,
but it's fine.
Especially if you're at work, you're a bit nervous.
Yes.
Like, we have no idea what's about to happen. When we
Totally,
go.
yeah. Getting it out was definitely harder than getting it in. So there's a bit of a technique involved, because what actually happens with this is when it goes in, it pops open and it suctions on, so there's no way that it's going to fall out, because it's, I don't know how.
I think it just grips to the walls.
Yeah. And
for lack of better words.
Totally. And even if you try to pull it out, you can't get it out. So it was
I even tested it by pulling it to check it wasn't going to come out. It's definitely very snug up there.
Yes, totally. So it's a bit of a learning process, figuring out the best way to get it out. So you just kind of hold on to the bottom, and then the secret is that you have to put your finger up and release the suction off, and then use your 2 fingers on the stem and then your other finger to sort of pull it out.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to get into some
Interesting positions.
I've heard bearing down as quite a common description of how to get it out.
Been there, done that, got the t-shirt.
But then once it's out, you just take the cup, tip it down the toilet, tip it down in the shower.
You're quite a fan of doing it in the shower,
Shower
aren't
is
you? Yeah.
so much better than trying to do it in the toilet. Rinse it out and then you put it back in again.
And for 12 hours. I mean,
For
that's
12 hours, that is just a total game changer. Like, you could go on a hike and not have to worry if
Who
there
would
was
hike
no
for
toilet.
12 hours?
But
Not
you don't
me.
have to go, where am I going to be in 4 hours time?
Totally.
Am I going to have access to a toilet?
Or that moment where you're searching through the glove box trying to see if you've got tampons, you're
Yes.
in the motorway on the way to work, you're like,
Totally.
oh my God, yeah, all of that's gone.
Yeah. The other thing is that they say you can put it in anticipation of your period, so it's not like a tampon that dries out because it collects everything rather than absorbing it. It's not, it doesn't affect the pH levels, and it's safe to keep in for a long period of time, so you don't have to worry about kind of dryness or anything like
And
that.
they say
as
that your
yet.
periods are actually shorter when you use a menstrual cup because the way that they work, it's literally your body is free to release.
Yeah.
And so the length of your period is quite often a lot shorter.
Yeah, I reckon mine has cut down by a whole day.
Wow, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, gone from 4 days to 3 days, which is it's
4
just
days,
now
you're
not
lucky.
no. It's not even it's just so easy. I just forget that I have it now. You don't throw anything out while you're on your period. You don't have, like, some people like to use a liner with it in case it leaks. I haven't had any issues with this one. But you're throwing nothing in the bin, and that is such a huge change. I read a
That's
fact
massive.
that women throughout their lifetime throw away 12,000 tampons. They get flushed down the toilet or they go into landfill. 12,000.
Yeah,
That
that's
is
disgraceful.
insane. And with this, so the Lunette Cup lasts for 10 years. So I worked out today that that's 45 cents a period if you keep your Lunette Cup
Yeah,
for 10
see,
years.
that's
Like, that's
amazing.
versus $20 being what a lot of people would actually spend on it. And if you look after it properly, it will last 10 years. And the way that you look after it is to sterilize it after every period. So basically you just boil it in a pot on the stove for 3 to 5 minutes.
Along with your veggies.
Yeah, along with your
in the pot
veggies,
next door.
yeah.
You've got a little pouch.
You've got a little pouch to keep it in. And they say to keep it in fabric rather than a plastic container so that it can breathe, I guess.
Yeah.
And the Lunette brand actually sell a menstrual cup cleaner, so you can take this into the shower with you and give it a proper rinse out each time. So that's great if you have access to running water. But if you find yourself in a situation where you can't
When
get
you're on the 12-hour
when you're-
tram.
Yeah, when you're on your 12-hour tram, or you are at work and you don't know whether you're going to be able to use the toilet that has the basin in it, they also sell cup wipes. So these are little, you can just keep one in your handbag and it just looks like a baby wipe. And so if you don't have access to running water, you can just tip the contents out and just wipe it clean with one of these. So they're really good to just keep in your bag
Coachella?
if you need to. Coachella.
Perfect for Coachella, Burning Man.
Yes, with your hand sanitizer. So
I think it's one of
yeah.
those things, right, that if you get your head around it,
Yes.
you'll never look back.
Yeah, and there is definitely a learning curve around inserting it and removing it. Like, there's no question about it. I don't know anyone who doesn't have some kind of funny story to tell when they're using it for the first
Yeah.
time. But I found, because quite a few people that I know now use them, and I have never talked about my period more in the last 4 months.
Or my vagina
Like,
with my
yeah.
friends. And it's actually really good. Let's start the conversation.
And people really want to hear your story. Like, they want to know what it's like to use it if they haven't tried it.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It's kind of like if you think back to when you were a teenager and you went from pads to tampons, and That was scary.
That was so
So
scary.
scary. But you get the hang of it.
Totally.
And then this is something else that's kind of, if you can get the hang of using a tampon, you can totally get the hang of using this.
Anyway, we hope you
Yeah.
try it, and we'd love to hear your feedback if
Yes.
you've tried it, what you think of it, and if we can answer any questions, we'd be happy to help.
Yes, if you have any questions, please comment below. Please let us know if you have tried it, because
And no question is a dumb question,
Yeah.
and I'd love you to share your embarrassing stories like I just did.
yes. Thanks so much.
Bye.